Welcome to a brand new episode of Johnson's Court. Today I'm super excited to bring you the last week of the NFL season, Week 18, and it's finally here with my two buds.
What's up?
So, with that being said, we're going to go right into our records because this might be like a 45-minute episode because we got a lot to talk about. It's Week 18, guys. So, with that being said, we'll first talk about this right here. There's one game that isn't added into our schedule. We'll get into that right after I do these records. So, Beagle, last week you went 8-7. Rio, you went 10-5. And I went 9-6. So overall, that puts our records at Beagle 147 wins, 106 losses, and 2 ties. Rio, you come in at 68 wins, 36 losses, and 1 tie. Then you've got me over here at 137 wins, 116 losses, and 2 ties. Now, what's funny about this is Beagle, you are 10 wins ahead of me in the win column, and I am 10 wins and 10 losses ahead of you in the loss column. How funny is that?
That's pretty good, man. And 10's a pretty good number, so hopefully it can grow a little bit.
Yeah, we'll definitely see what happens. Rio, you're on the brink of 70. How do you feel about that?
I feel good, man. I thought I did a lot worse. There was a few weird upsets last week, so I'm glad to see that I was on the winning side.
There you go. So first, really want to talk about the Bills and Bengals game that happened on Monday night. It is postponed due to an injury to DeMar Hamilton, who went into a cardiac arrest. Now, I kind of wanted to ask you guys, were you watching the game when it happened?
I was not.
I was not watching it either. I just got a notification on the report. I didn't realize the severity of the incident until I watched the highlight clip, and man, that's scary stuff, man.
It absolutely is. It's kind of scary. I was playing basketball on Monday night. I haven't played in like 5 months, so I'm a little sore, a little banged up over here. But had fun. It was a blast. So check it out on the channel as well. The videos are updated and posted on at Southside. But my little brother called me on the phone and he was like, "Bro, you watching this game?" And I was like, "No, I'm not." He goes, "Bro, they're on like a 10-minute delay and stuff." And it's just kind of really scary injury to see. He made the tackle on T. Higgins, gets up and then falls down. So. Just want to say that we're all praying for him. I know Beagle is, Rio is, I am. The whole country is praying for him. So hopefully he has, a speedy recovery and he's able to come back fully healthy. And we'll be able to determine, what the NFL is going to do later this week, if they're going to push the NFL back a week, what's going to happen exactly. And we'll just find out when more news comes to, our outlets. So with that being said, Beagle, we talked about the segment that we didn't talk about it. You said it was going to be a surprise. So I want you to go first, man. What is your surprise? What do you want to bring onto the channel today?
And what do I want to bring on the channel? I originally thought about this injury, so I originally wanted to talk about. I thought we would talk about a little more. So what I want to do is, Aaron, with the Packers just blowing out the Vikings this week. They're on like a 3-game win streak. And they're really in the hunt for that 7th seed. They just got to get a win against the Lions. I think, despite being the 7th seed, do you think the Packers have a chance to make, some sort of, 2012 Giants run, whether it's a wild card go to the Super Bowl? Do you think that this late push would give the momentum for the Packers going into the playoffs? So what do y'all think about this?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll let Rio go ahead. I feel like I've talked a little bit too much already. So, Rio, give your opinion on this.
That is a crazy take, man. If that happens, I guess we'd have to start talking about A-Rod a lot differently. I think that it definitely gives them momentum. I think that they will make a playoff berth. But I don't see them going to the Super Bowl and definitely not winning it. I feel like there's just the top teams' defenses are just too crazy for the Packers right now, man. But I think they are wild right now, and I think that they are probably going to sneak into the playoffs.
No, that's so true. I mean, the Lions were able to beat the Bears pretty bad last week, 41-10, I believe. But then they lost the week before that, I believe. So, I don't know what to think of the NFC North Division, to be honest with you. Just not sure what's going to happen with that. The Packers could get in. I'll kind of give my opinion a little bit later since that is a Sunday night game, and I don't want to give too much away right now. But it would be crazy, if they made a run like that. But personally, I don't see them making a run like that just because I feel like yes, you have that experience in Aaron Rodgers, but I just don't think that the receivers and other players just are there and up to that level. So I think that my playoff experience is a huge thing, and obviously the Tom Brady and the Buccaneers surprisingly somehow made the playoffs this year with the record that they have. So I don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs, but Beagle, that's a great question, man, and I feel like we'll dive a little bit more into it when we get to that Sunday night game. How does that sound?
Great, sounds great.
All right, all right. So Rio, you didn't tell me your segment either, so go ahead and lay it down for us.
Yeah, so I'm glad that Beagle brought up the Packers because that was the NFC kind of little part of my segment. I just kind of wanted to talk about the upsets and teams kind of coming into the playoffs late in the season that we didn't really expect. We might have thought that they were going to go the tanking route, but yeah. So the Packers on the NFC, they're trying to fight for it. The Lions, you don't really know what they're going to be doing, and then we got the Seahawks who were impressing early in the season, have upset a little bit. They better win against the Rams, and if they don't, then they're in trouble because then the Packers or the Lions could take their spot. And then on the AFC, we got the Jaguars that we've been talking about, for the past month, I feel like, on this channel. And they jumped up to the 4 seed, or at least like in the hunt picture. And so, they're trying to get in there. They're above like the Dolphins odds right now, and the Steelers and the Titans, and the Patriots. So I just think it's really cool. And I guess the question is, do you think that the Jaguars have momentum to go anywhere past the first round in the playoffs?
Beagle, I know you kind of talked about this. If the Jags win, they beat the Titans on Sunday, or actually they play Saturday. Trevor Lawrence will make his first playoff debut. Do you see him going pretty far, or do you see him, kind of getting his butt kicked going into in the playoffs since it's a new world for him?
Yeah, I know that Eric Henry didn't play this past week, and I know it's looking questionable for this week, so that's obviously a big factor. I really like to see him. I'd like to see him. I think it's possible they could make it, and with winning the AFC South, I'll give them the 4th seed. So they would have, I think they would have home field advantage for at least that first round.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So depending who they draw, who they go against, there's a good chance that they could get out the first round because they just been playing red hot lately.
Absolutely. I personally, I've kind of been talking about it the past few weeks. I think they, yes, do win the AFC South, and they will host a home game. Now, if they play the Steelers, I think they can win the first game. If they play the Dolphins, they could win the first game. But if they play the Chiefs or if they play the Bills, I don't see them advancing past the first round just because those teams are a little bit better. But I could see the Jaguars making it to at least the second round, and I think that would be really well. They could even play the Chargers, which, that would be, Justin Herbert's debut versus Trevor Lawrence's debut, which would be really cool. So, unfortunately, someone has to lose at the end of the game because we don't make ties in the playoffs. I was going to say in the NFL, but in the playoffs. So, I think it would be really cool. I mean, Rio, you brought up this question. We'll end it with you, man. Do you see the Jags making it past the first round?
No, I don't really see them making it past the first round. I think it's an awesome rally to get to the playoffs in the first place. I think playoff experience and under the pressure will be good for them. Like you said, if they do happen to play the Steelers, I guess, I could see it happening, but I don't think that they're going to be playing them. They're probably going to be playing a high seed, or a decent seed. So I don't think too much, but it'll be good for them.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. Yeah, go ahead, Beagle.
I think if they end up playing Steelers, that'd make a nice playoff rematch from 2017 with Blake Bortles. So it would be pretty cool to see them play that.
Absolutely. Now, my segment a little bit before we go into our picks. We talked about it a little bit, 2 weeks ago and even last week as well. But we're going to talk about Justin Fields. Now, Beagle, you probably already got the alert on your phone. You probably already know. But he will not be breaking the single-season rushing record because he's out with a hip injury this Sunday. Neil Peterman will be starting in his position. How does that make you feel, Beagle, that he is, a little bit above just 100 yards away from breaking that record and they're not going to play him?
And it's kind of depressing just because I just want him to break the record. But I know that'll just give the haters what they want because they want this narrative that he's just a runner, which he's not. And it's it sucks, but at the end of the day, it's rest. Season's already been a wrap. So rather have them they'll be healthy and like not risk further injury than have them for the future than worry about a record that could possibly just break in the future, knowing his skill set. So it sucks not to see, especially how good of a record and how big of a record that is. But there's more games in the future.
Absolutely, I love your take on that. What about you, Rio?
Yeah, I think that he could easily just come back next year and break it. So I don't think he's probably too worried about it. I think that it's probably in his best interest just to not get hurt this last game. They're not, fighting they're not fighting for a playoff spot really. So I think it's smart, and I think that he'll definitely come back, prove the haters wrong. I think he'll be a good player in the league. He'll just continue to get better at throwing, and just like Beak said, he'll prove that he's not just a runner.
Absolutely, I love both your guys' take. And not only will he prove that he's not just a runner, but the overall team will get better as well. So I think that will definitely be a big improvement going into the next season because, we don't know what's going to happen in the NFC North. Obviously it got better this year. And so, we want, every division to be pretty competitive, but then you go to the NFC South with the Bucks and Saints, and somehow it was competitive, but competitive on like a low-level skill. You guys know what I mean?
Yeah, it's close. Bad records are still close.
Exactly. So, I agree with you guys. It sucks to see he's not going to break the record, but he has potential to break it in the future, and we're excited to see him play next season as well. So, here we go, guys. We have games not starting on Thursday this week, but on Saturday because it's Week 18, and it's a special week. This is a week that's never been here before, except... Yeah, exactly. So it's just not something that we're used to. It's still, under that 5-year kind of transition that we're in. And so it's really cool to see, things are happening and changing. So on Saturday at 4:30, the Chiefs are playing the Raiders. I'll go first a little bit about this. If the Chiefs win this game, it really puts them in a great spot for that number 1 seed, depending on, if the, when or if the Bengals and Bills game gets resumed, and we kind of see, what happens there as well. So there's a lot of questions still up in the air going into all these games as well. But I'm going Chiefs here. It should be pretty easy. Yes, the Raiders, gave a pretty good fight last week versus the 49ers, but I think the Chiefs should have this one in the bag, and Patty Mahomes should cruise to an easy win. What about you, Beagle? I'm going to let you go next.
Yeah, you said Raiders played pretty good against this very strong 49ers defense. I don't know if you saw that Jamal Adams catch where I don't even know, just stuck his hand in between the DB's hand, was still able to snag it and go to the ground. It was insane.
Wow.
That quarterback would play pretty. Just depends with the Chiefs. I know we don't know what's going to happen with that. You said that Bills and Bengals game, so I don't know if something gets sorted out with that. That will depend if the Chiefs want to rest people or play.
True, very true.
But I still got the Chiefs coming out with this one.
Absolutely. Go ahead here, Rio.
I feel like the Raiders, they have firepower, and they choose to bring it out at the weirdest times. They almost beat the 49ers, and then they lose to the Steelers by a close game. They edge out the Patriots into the close game. And I just feel like, regardless of if the Chiefs rest a few players or not, I still feel like they got depth. Even if they rest their starting running back, their secondary running back's just as good, I think, at least in the passing game. And then, so I'm going to take the Chiefs on this one.
Absolutely. So we're all going Chiefs here. It should be pretty self-explanatory. And I think, I'm going to say this, and it makes kind of sense. Week 18 or even when Week 17 was here, it's kind of rest week for certain teams. Maybe not all the teams who are fighting for a playoff spot or whatnot, but it's kind of rest week for a lot, especially if you have that number 1, seed locked up, or you have that number 2 or number 3 locked up. You're not really care because you're going to make the playoffs. So it's like we're going to play somebody who is already close to the playoffs or in the playoffs anyway, so they don't really have to worry about it too much. But 8:30 is our Saturday late game, and it's the Tennessee Titans coming in and facing the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, if either team wins this game, they make it into the AFC South. Doesn't matter. As long as the game does not end in a tie, somebody will make it into the playoffs as a AFC South divisional champion. Now, Rio, it's in Jacksonville. Do you see the Titans coming in and just making a last-second push? I don't know if Ryan Tannehill's playing or not. Or do you see Trevor Lawrence finally, make that hump and be like, hey, I want to live like my Clemson days in the playoffs?
Man, I think that I feel like I want the Titans to be good. I feel like we're all Derrick Henry fans on this channel.
For sure.
But they will have good games, and they try, and he tries to carry them to the win. But that loss to the Texans a few weeks ago, and then the Jaguars sweep the Texans. The Jaguars have been more on fire. I feel like they got more heart this time around. I just feel like they own that spot. So give me Jaguars.
All right. What about you, Beagle?
Yeah, I'm looking right here. The Titans are saying they're starting Joshua Dobbs for quarterback.
Okay.
And he's only gotten to play, I think, one game last week. So, on a big game like that with a little experience, it's definitely gonna come back to get them. Trevor Lawrence has been playing great, and it just seems like that the Titans just relied on Derrick Henry to be hungry, and if they don't have him, then they're kind of don't have an identity. Whereas the Jaguars, like everybody on that team is so hungry. With Jones out there being a wide receiver for Lawrence, they're just able to go out there, put up the points needed to help their defense out, and give me the Jaguars. They got home too, so I feel like that just adds to the cause.
Absolutely. I like, your guys' picks. I'm going Jags as well because obviously they like you said, they're just a better team. They're more hungry and whatnot. So I just feel as the Jags have it more in them to win this game. And I think Trevor Lawrence wants to be back there as well. And if you guys think about it, last year, the Colts were on the brink. All they had to do was beat the Jaguars the last week of the season to make the playoffs, and the Jacksonville Jaguars won. So give me the Jacksonville Jaguars, back-to-back mojo, seasons, win the last game of the year. But this game is going to put them in the playoffs, and we're going to see Trevor Lawrence make his debut. Let's go. Then comes Sunday. Our first game at 1 o'clock is the Ravens versus the Bengals. Now, I think, the Bengals and Bills are still going to play their games on Sunday, more than likely, and, they may resume their game that following week or whatever happens. So we're still going to go through all these games, just like if that game had been played. You've got the Ravens coming in playing the Bengals. I don't know if Lamar Jackson's playing. I don't know if one of you want to look that up to see if he is or not. But Joe Burrow's hot. Cincinnati is good. Like, they're just like a good team. Like, they're firing on all cylinders, and they were winning that game versus the Bills. They were up 7-3. So if Lamar Jackson doesn't play, this is going to hurt the Ravens, and I think that the Bengals are going to win this game anyways. The Ravens are already in the playoffs, so give me Bengals here. What do you got to say here, Beagle?
Yeah, right. I'm not seeing anything about Lamar Jackson. I think he is out for season, but I did see his article right here that there's side discussions on playing the Ravens due to what happened on Monday night. Depending on if this is true and what players do not play, that could make a big shift right there. That's probably a game time thing, and yet we still got to worry about what they are going to do with what happened in the records. So I feel like there's just a lot that's sorted out. It's a big thing, and I know everyone's not going to be pleased. There's people on both sides, and especially play. So, but like you said, we're gonna take it like as if, like a game went on. Give me the Bengals.
All right.
I think I'm going to have to agree with y'all. I think if Lamar plays, if he doesn't, he's probably not going to play. Especially like Beak said, what happened, everybody's cautious. Yeah, I feel like the Bengals are just too hot. And it's going to be a showdown. We got a lot of games. These last few weeks have been good divisional games. So, but yeah, I'll go with Bengals with you guys.
Absolutely. And I think every game is a divisional game, actually, now that I'm looking at it, which is awesome. Then you've got the Browns versus Steelers. So let's get the AFC North out of the way. The Browns are coming in and playing the Steelers. Rio, go ahead, give me your opinion on here. Do the Steelers make the playoffs if they win this game? Like, I know they have a better chance. I'm not sure if they win, if they're in or not. Maybe. I'm not really sure on this scenario. But, or do you think Deshaun Watson and the Browns shut their playoff hopes completely on Sunday?
I mean, hey man, I feel like this is going to be one of the better games, even though it's not the most flashy teams. The Steelers got a good win over the Ravens. I know they didn't have Lamar, but still. And then the Browns had a good win over the Commanders. So, I've been picking the Steelers a lot this year. They've been kind of like my Raiders, and so they've been disappointing me on the games that I do pick them. So I'm gonna pick the Browns, man. Watson, their running game. Go ahead and give me the Browns.
All right. What do you got to say here, Beagle?
Yeah, I know Kenny Pickett has just been out here playing pretty well as of late, being clutch. It is at Heinz Field. Browns don't have anything to play for. I feel like that there is, like, because like you said, that this is all divisional games, all rivalries. So I think they're gonna have that little atmosphere to it. Well, the Browns are. I'm gonna go with the Browns on this one too. I feel like Nick Chubb and Deshaun Watson running on the ground is gonna be enough.
Absolutely. So this is where I'm going to disagree. We're going to have our first disagreement. I'm going Steelers here. I'm not a Steelers fan whatsoever, but the only reason why I want to go Steelers is because I want to see Mike Tomlin kind of go for the record to never have a losing season. I think it'd be really cool for him to keep that streak up. If he wins this game, he will never have a losing season. I don't know if he's retiring after this or not. I have no idea, but if he wants to keep that streak alive, he should. But with that being said, I think this will be a good game, just like you guys are saying. I think Deshaun Watson and Nick Chubb, can get it done. But the Steelers are playing pretty well right now. They're on a 2-game win streak, so we'll just see what happens. And this is going to be a great game. And so this can go either way. And man, I just love that divisional week is here.
Yes.
Then you got the Minnesota Vikings and the Bears. Kind of how I wrote a little note here saying Justin Fields is out, so obviously it's going to play a little bit of a factor coming into this. The Vikings did. Who did they play last week? Why can I not? The Packers, yeah, and they got blown out. So, Beagle, I kind of want you to give your opinion on here first of who you want to go here, and do you see the Vikings? Do you see the Vikings somehow losing this game, or do they bounce back?
I feel like they do win this game. This is probably, I would have to say, the most useless game because no matter what happens, I don't think the Vikings can take the 49ers to that second seed, and the Bears are already out of the playoffs. So they're just playing it because it's on their schedule. No Nathan Peterman's their quarterback, no Justin Fields, so yeah, give me the Vikings.
All right. What about you, Rio? I know you've been hot on the Vikings all year long, but they blew it, and then they also blew a lead to the Colts, the week before that or whatever. So are you still content with the Vikings, or how are you feeling about them this late in the season?
Man, I said it once on the channel, and I've been telling everyone at work. I feel like they're the best team that just drops games or almost drops games. I know they ended up winning the Colts game, but very much they could have lost. I feel like I'm still going to go with them against the Bears. Fields is out. He's really the heart and soul of their team right now. Vikings are just trying to get, I think, the best record they can just because. And I know they got blown out by the Packers, but I think that the Packers are a little bit better than the Bears this season. So give me the Vikings. Even though they're definitely starting to disappoint me though this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you're kind of saying that they were hot, they played pretty well, and now they're cooling off at the wrong time. And some teams do that, and the Vikings are one of those teams that is doing that this season. So, yes, I'm going to go Vikings here as well, just because, kind of like Beagle said, it's a pointless game. The Vikings could lose this game, and they could care less, but I still think that it's going to be a W for them anyway. So, I'm going to go with Vikings. Then you've got the Patriots playing the Bills. Now, Beagle, kind of how you said it, we don't really know who's going to play this game, especially for the Bills and things like that. But with that being said, I'll kind of go here first, and I'll let you guys go. yes, I want to pick the Bills right off the bat because it's a crucial game for them, especially, Monday night it was a crucial game for them because depending on, if they can win outright, they'll be the number one seed. Or if the Bengals can win outright, they can be the number one seed. So, it's really iffy, teams have to win these games just because it's up in the air and I don't know what's going to happen. My heart's telling me I got to go Bills. I want to go Patriots because of Bill Belichick and Mac Jones and maybe a late little run here, but my heart's telling me Bills, so I'm going Bills here. What do you got, Beagle?
And I'm looking. I know the Patriots have to get a win in order to get that last 7th seed because that's up for grabs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking between the Patriots, Dolphins, Steelers, and Jaguars. There's just a lot that needs to go down. Patriots right now, they need to win, or the Dolphins need to lose. Plus, the Steelers need to lose, and the Browns and Jaguars too. So there's like a big list of things to happen, but it all starts with that. Have to get that Bills win against the Bills. They are on the road. They're in New York. I know we said we don't know what's going to be happening, but give me the Bills on this one.
All right. Go ahead, Rio.
So, I'm going to go with the opposite end. I'm going to go with Patriots on this one. I think both teams are hot. I feel like more Bills players are going to be concerned about playing, just with it being closer to hitting home than the Patriots. And the game might be moved, it said, but we don't know. Like, it could be on time as well. But I'm going to go with the Patriots. I got a weird feeling I feel like this game is a weird game. It's the weirdest game of the week.
Absolutely. Yes. So there we go. We have a disagreement there. And it's kind of funny that you guys talk about it. Beagle, you said it a little bit. The Dolphins need to lose. Now, it's the Jets versus Dolphins the next game. With that being said, Tua is not playing. He's still on concussion protocol. That means Teddy Bridgewater or even their third-string quarterback is going to play first the Jets. Rio, I'm going to let you go first here. What does that say about Tua being out again? And does that ruin their playoff chances hopes?
So, as far as making the playoffs, I think that they can get a win here. I think that they're going to beat the Jets. The Jets had a pretty disappointing loss to the Seahawks. I mean, the Seahawks are no pushovers, but it was a pretty big loss. And the Dolphins held their own last week against the Patriots. They still lost, but it was a close game. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Dolphins, and I think that they'll definitely make the playoffs, but without Tua, it's going to be hard to get past some of these other AFC teams.
Absolutely. What do you think, Beagle?
Yeah, I know Teddy Bridgewater, I think they said he had a dislocated thumb or stumble with his hand.
Okay.
So, if that third stringer, they are home. Jets do kind of play. I'm going to give you the Dolphins on this one, but if they want to win a playoff game, they're going to need Tua.
That's true. They will need Tua to win a playoff game, and I don't know what the uncertainty is with him going forward. Even if they do make the playoffs, if they should bring him back, rush him back, I don't know his status. Kind of like you said, Rio, you kind of had a weird feeling about the Patriots and Bills game. I've got a weird feeling about this game, and I'm going Jets here. Yes, they're on the road, but, even if they start Mike White, maybe, hey, give me Joe Flacco out here. He's a defending, Super Bowl champion, with the Ravens. So I just think the Jets are going to get it done because Tua's out and Teddy's hurt a little bit. So, yes, the quarterback matchup there is kind of like similar. And I don't know. I'm just feeling the Jets here. So, I'm rocking with the Jets.
Right on.
I'm turning on my Jets. I'm kidding. All right. Then you've got the Buccaneers coming in and playing the Atlanta Falcons. Now, if they didn't win last week versus the Panthers, it was going to come down to this game. They were going to need to win to make the playoffs, but they got to win last week versus the Panthers. The Bucs are now in. I didn't want to see Tom Brady in the playoffs again. Just kind of, just honestly didn't want to see it. Just a different team, But with this game going down, I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you. I did a bet for $5 to win $95 for every 1 o'clock team to make one field goal. the one team that didn't make a field goal, or actually no, the Falcons did make a field goal, but they could have scored one way a long time ago before they actually did to kick a game-winning field goal. But they went for it on 4th down, and I was like, what in the hell are you guys doing? So it kind of made me mad a little bit. And so I don't know if I'm going to bet this weekend, to be honest with you guys. But, just to see how the Falcons are, just not being reckless, sort of say, but, just kind of trying new things with their quarterback and whatnot. I'm going Bucks here. I think it's a pretty safe matchup. I don't think Tom Brady plays anyways because they're making the playoffs, so it doesn't really matter. They're locked in on that 4th seed, but I'm going Bucks here. What do you got, Rio?
Yeah, Bucks. The Falcons, they're not playing for anything. The Bucks, even if they rest Brady, I think that Mike Evans is finally kind of getting in his rhythm. He's been weird all season, and he finally got in his groove last game, so they're going to be ready for the playoffs. I think the defense is better, so yeah, I'll go with Bucks with you this time.
All right, what do you think, Beagle?
Yeah, I know the Panthers gave him a pretty good run. They had the lead for most of the game. He had Tom Brady being Tom Brady. He's hooking up with Mike, or doing some yards. He had himself a day.
He did 300-some yards.
Hopkins not that much better defensively, so look for Mike to go off again. Give me Buccaneers on this one.
All right, we're going Bucks there. Then you've got the Panthers coming and playing the Saints. This game obviously doesn't mean a whole lot. Three out of the 4 teams are eliminated. This game can be a toss-up, and I feel like this game is going to be kind of good, to be honest with you. I don't know who's playing exactly. Like I said, they're going to rest their starters, but I think the Panthers win this game, guys, just because they don't have nothing to lose. Obviously, the Saints don't either, but I feel like the Saints are going to rest more players than the Panthers, and so I'm going Panthers here. But what do you think, Beagle?
Yeah, Saints got an impressive win. Eagles on the road. They've really been stepping up as of late. Both teams don't got anything to play for. Just for the sake. The only reason I'm going to go Saints on this one is because they home.
All right. You got it. What about you, Rio?
I'm going to side with Beagle on this matchup. I think that the Saints' impressive win over the Eagles, even without Hurts, I think it's still really impressive. They still got a championship team. I think that was a lot more impressive than the Panthers' loss over the Bucks. So give me the Saints on this one.
All right. Next, you've got the Texans coming in and playing the Colts. I'll make it short and simple for you. The Colts suck. The Titans suck. I'm going Texans here. Who do you got, Rio?
I got to go with the hometown team. I'm going to go with Colts, man. We got to get it done. The Texans, I think, are the worst team in the league. So we got to get this one.
All right. What do you think, Beagle?
There's a lot actually riding on this game. The Texans, if they lose, they will hold the number 1 pick. But if they win and the Bears lose, the Bears get the number 1 pick in the draft. So the first pick of this draft coming up in May is at stake for this game. I know Bears have a quarterback. Texans are looking for one, so I think they're going to try to tank and get that number 1 spot. They're on the road. However, the Colts, like you said, kind of garbage.
Beagle just left us. That's okay. Maybe I'll come back. I might have to send another Zoom invite. But obviously he's going Colts here just because he wants his Bears, yes, to get that number 1 pick, but he thinks the Texans are going to more. So he's going Colts as well, so I'll write that down for him. All right. Then next you have the Arizona Cardinals playing the 49ers. I'm going to send him an invite again, but Rio, go ahead and give me your opinion here.
Yeah, 49 one of the teams that I really like this season. I think that they're going to make way with the Cardinals. They kind of had a close game last week, which was a scare, but I think that they're going to put stuff together and get it done this week. Cardinals are playing for nothing. 49ers, they probably want to get every win they can. And I think the 49ers are probably going to make a deep playoff run, man. That's my predicament. I don't know if they're going to go to the Super Bowl, but I feel like they're going to go deep.
So you're going 49ers for this game?
Yep.
All right, 49ers. So actually, I'm going to go 49ers here as well. And that's because it's kind of funny that you say that you think they're going to go on a deep playoff run. When me and Beagle were doing this last year, it was funny. I remember him sitting at my house, and we were both not on the 49er hype train. We were like, we're going to lose first round. They went all the way to the NFC Championship, I believe. So I think personally that the 49ers make a deep playoff run as well and potentially make it back to the playoffs. Now, I know a lot of people, I'm like, hey, I think the 49ers are going to go deep or not, and everyone keeps telling me they need a quarterback, they need a QB. Absolutely. They need Jimmy G back. I'm not going to lie. They 100% need Jimmy G back. But Brock Purdy, whatever his name is, he's getting the job done. And he's got stars around him. And people kind of say that the position that he's in is the same position that Jimmy G is in. You surround him with a lot of stars, then the quarterback doesn't really have to do too much. So I think he's playing great. I think he's playing well. I think, yes, the playoff obviously is a different animal. It's a completely different animal. But I think they can still go far. So I'm going 49ers as well.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think that Jimmy G answer because I think that they just need a big quarterback. I think that if they want to go with Lance, he may be a superstar eventually, but that's not what they need. They have such a complete team that they just need a safe quarterback, not one that's going to try to run or throw interceptions.
That's very true. I agree with you.
I would even say Purdy. So I think that they need to ship Lance.
He's coming off ankle surgery, so I don't know what they're going to ship for him, but yeah.
I'm sure that there's some teams that would like to get him.
Absolutely, for sure.
The Texans.
Yeah, a lot of teams would want him. So I think Beagle's probably going to go 49ers as well. I won't write anything down for him, but he'll definitely give us his pick. Then at 425, the Cowboys are coming in and playing the Commanders. Obviously, the Commanders are out of contention. They're eliminated. The Cowboys can if the Cowboys win this game, then they can be the number one seed, possibly. But if the Eagles win, then they'll be the number one seed. So there went my Zoom. So, got to create a new one. All good. I think personally the Cowboys win this game, and the only reason why I see it is because they're fighting for that number one seed. I just see them fighting for that number one seed because everyone wants to rest, and it just makes sense. You want to be able to rest your players because it's crucial getting another week off and being fresh, just kind of how they do the college football playoffs and things like that. So Rio joined us again. Beagle's coming back as well, but I'm going the Cowboys here over the Commanders, like I said, because they're fighting for the number one seed. What do you got here, Rio?
Yeah, dude, Cowboys. They're another really good team. They got some really good players on both sides of the ball. I just think that they got to get it done. They're trying to get as many wins as possible as well. Commanders are out, so give me Cowboys.
Absolutely. Beagle, let me go back. Do you got the Cardinals or the 49ers?
Cardinals or 49ers? Give me 49ers on this one.
All right, that's what I thought. Didn't want to write it down, though. So then you've got the Cowboys at the Commanders. You going Cowboys here, like I was just saying. If they win, they could potentially be the number one seed. If if the Eagles win, then they'll be the number one seed. So do you see them beating the Commanders here?
Yeah, Commanders do have a sneaky team with Terry McLaurin and I think if Tyler Heineke
Yep.
Chase Young is back, so that's going to give him a boost.
Oh, that's huge.
Cowboys have known to choke too, so just for fun, I'm going to do the upset of the week. Give me the Commanders on this week.
Commanders, you got it.
I see that for the Bills player that died, he had a foundation giving out toys to his local area, and it's supposed to be their goal is $2,500, but they ended up raising $4 million. And the Commanders donated. They donated $5,000, and some rando business that's kind of looks like they could use the money, but they kind of donated. They donated $5,500. So it's how are you gonna let a no-name business out donate you, and you're a multi-billion $1 million corporation? Commanders just got a lot of random, a lot of issues as a whole organization.
Very true. Maybe that'll spark that foundation. I know his goal is only $2,500, and they've raised $3 million or something like that. So that's really awesome to see what they did for his foundation. Next, you've got the Rams coming in and playing the Seahawks. Seahawks are trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. As much as I said this, and I kept saying it, I said Geno Smith was going to fall off, and he hadn't yet. Being the last week of the season, I still could see the Seahawks winning this game. It is at the 12th man. Baker Mayfield and the Rams are actually not playing too bad. You know, he's playing pretty well in that system. Only because it's in Seattle, I'm going Seahawks. What about you, Beagle?
Yeah, I know they need to get this win to secure a playoff berth. I know Rams don't have a shot for that. Yeah, give me the Seahawks. It's been nice seeing Geno Smith perform this year. He definitely got my vote for most improved. Yeah, really nice for playoff push. And I know this year definitely gave him a lot of talk for the offseason when he becomes a free agent to up his bag when the time comes.
Absolutely. Rio, before you go, I did want to say this. So it's funny that, we brought up the playoff thing. I was seeing that even if the Seahawks get this win, if the Packers get their win, the Packers will make the playoffs over the Seahawks because the Packers will win a divisional game where they will have, where this is not this is a divisional game. What? Oh, I think they have more wins in their division, I think is what the guy was saying. Okay, that makes sense now. So the Packers would end up making the playoffs instead of the Seahawks. So even if they get this win, they need the Packers to lose. So with that being said, Rio, does that affect your choice here, the Rams or the Seahawks?
I'm a little more sure on the Seahawks than you are. You were saying only because it's in Seattle. I know that the Rams have been playing a little better with Baker, but I think that they should try to get a little better of a pick since their season got torn apart. They got Cup out. They are having one of the worst seasons, I think, after winning a chip.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm gonna take a confident Seahawks pick.
All right, confident. I'm a little wobbly. You're confident. There we go. Ooh, this game could be a Monday night game, especially if Jalen Hurts, does play this game. But it's the Giants coming in and playing the Eagles. Now it's our buddy Joey playing Eagles, since, he's now out in Philadelphia. So it's kind of cool to see that matchup. The Giants are in the playoffs the first time since 2016, I believe. Is that correct, Beagle?
No, last year they made the playoffs.
They made it last year?
Yeah, they got beat by Tom Brady.
Okay, so they made it in last year, actually. So, with that being said, I still think they're a first-round exit. Even if Jalen Hurts doesn't play, I think Gardner Minshew finally turns it around and he's like, "Hey, I got those games out of the way. Let's turn it up when it really matters." So I'm going Eagles here, and if they get the win, they get a first-round bye. So I think they get a first-round bye, and I think it's going to help Jalen Hurts. What do you think, Rio?
So I feel like it's more on the side that Hurts isn't going to play. They dropped that game to the Saints. The Giants, I think, are feeling it. I'm not saying that they're going to make a deep playoff run because I think that you're right. They're probably going to be a first-round exit. But give me the Giants this Sunday. I think it's in the air, and they're going to take down the Eagles.
All right. What about you, Beagle?
Yeah, I know a lot rides on if Jalen plays or not. I know he definitely wants to play, get that first round bye, get that rest, that much needed rest. For the first seed is definitely all up in the air. I know the Eagles are facing some injuries on their line and through their defense. They are home though, and despite it being ugly, last week being ugly, it was still a very close game. Defense has just been playing strong. Give me the Eagles.
All right, going with the Eagles. Our last game Sunday is the Chargers versus the Broncos. Now, if the Chargers lose this game, I feel like maybe it affects their wild card spot a little bit, but I know that they will be in the playoffs. They have clinched it. They are playing the Broncos. I don't know if Russell Wilson is going to start or not. Honestly, I probably wouldn't start him if I was the Broncos. Your season's already wrapped up. Might as well not play him anyways. I think the Chargers win this game, even if Justin Herbert plays or not. Broncos are just, I don't know where they're riding to, but they're not riding into the playoffs. So I'm going Chargers here. What do you think, Beagle?
Yeah, they did play Lions did well against the Chiefs last week for no reason. Probably their best game of the year, but way too little, way too late. Chargers are definitely looking to make a push. Yeah, give me the Chargers on this one.
All right, I will. All right, Rio.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Chargers with y'all. The Broncos did have a weird game where they played good against the Chiefs, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. I don't think they're gonna carry it over. I think the Chargers are trying to keep their hopes alive. I think they're a decent little team, but I don't know how far they're also gonna go in the playoffs either.
Well, yeah, we'll just see what Justin Herbert's made of. I know a lot of people are excited for him to make the playoffs. They should have been it last year and didn't. So we'll see what happens there. But then on Sunday Night Football, which I think this will be a great Sunday night game because we'll see what kind of Lions show up with Jared Goff or whatnot because they've been playing, pretty well. I think is their record 8-8. Do you guys know what the Lions are at?
Yeah, they're both 8-8.
Okay, so they're both 8-8. So this is, a pivotal, a very, vital game for both of them. The Packers need this and the win, and they're in. The Lions, obviously, if they win, they need just a little bit of help. I think they need the Seahawks to lose or something. But man, this is gonna be a good game. Under the lights in Lambeau Field. It's why they flexed it to Sunday night football. Obviously, as much as I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, because I didn't want to see Tom Brady in the playoffs. I kind of got a weird feeling on that. The Packers are going to make the playoffs, and I think this might be the last season you see Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs at the same time, especially in the same division, obviously. So I'm riding Packers here. I'm not a cheesehead, but we're going here. That's all I got to say. What do you got here, Rio?
I think that, this is one of those games that's not going to be barring a lot of injuries. I think that the Ravens-Bengals game could have been a game of the week without injuries. I think the Patriots-Bills game without the weirdness of if they're going to play or not or who's going to play, I think that could have been a game of the week. Or the Jets-Dolphins, if Tua was playing, I think that could have been a game. So I think this is my game of the week, and they're both mediocre teams that have been playing good at the right time. They got weapons. I'm going to go with the Packers. I kind of want to see the Packers get in a little more than I want to see the Lions get in. So give me the Packers on this one.
Beagle, I feel like Beagle, I know that you don't want to see Aaron Rodgers in. How bad do you not want to see him in? Or do you think the Lions just are not that good that Aaron Rodgers is still going to have his way with the Lions? What do you think? I really want to know.
I bet the Lions are good, and they're just hungry this year. They've been 6-2 since the last time they played them, according to this little thing. They've just been hungry, and their pick Hutchinson's just been playing phenomenal as of late. Possibly a candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year, possibly. Now that Sauce Gardner's calmed down a little bit. But I know it is at Lambeau. This would be very devastating for Aaron Rodgers if it didn't make it. I'm gonna pray on that. Give me the Lions in the upset and make the playoffs for the first time in 2016, I think.
Something like that. I was gonna say they've.
Give me the Lions in the upset.
All right, Lions. Yeah. I like that. No, I mean, I figured you were probably going to go Lions here, and, I like that. We've got a few disagreements in here this week, which is awesome. It is Week 18, so, it's kind of rest week. It's kind of competitive week for a little bit of them. The team's on the bubble, so, we're just not too sure what's going to happen, especially, with the Bills and Bengals game and things like that. So we'll just kind of see, next week might be our wild card matchup going into the playoffs. It might not be. We'll keep you guys updated. Obviously the NFL will keep us updated so then, we can, make another podcast and things like that. But with that being said, guys, Week 18 will be here on Saturday, so there is no game tomorrow, which feels kind of weird. But, having football on Saturday is fun too because, it gives you something to do on Saturday night instead of watching, basketball or, things like that. But, football is almost over. It's almost playoff time. And I know I'm excited. Are you guys excited?
Oh, yeah.
So they're super excited. They kind of said it at the same time, so you couldn't hear them. But we'll see what happens. Can I get, to 150 wins? Can Or yeah, I mean, because Beagles 3 wins away, I'm obviously more than that away, and we'll just see what happens here. You know, can Rio reach 8, or can Rio reach 75 wins? So we're super excited what's going on into week 18. So with that being said, thank you guys so much. Thanks for watching this video, and we will see you guys all next week.